Alright guys, this is Brazilian Nick here again, and this is part 2 of my PMDG Jetstream 41 basic tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to cover getting the aircraft turned back on, and getting that GPU off, probably getting the FMC programmed in, and maybe even getting set up for taxi. But we'll see. I might include those in the next part, depending on the length of this. So there we have it. I got the plane cold and dark. I'm going to hit B to change my altimeter. Once again, I've had it set up here at Seattle, and I am flying to Glacier Park, which is KGPI, Kalispell. I don't know. It's like 3,000 feet above the ground, and it's in Montana. My alternate's going to be Calgary, and I'm cool with that. I have it set for clear skies. I'm not going to mess with Rex weather or anything like that for this flight. We'll save all the weather and crazy icing and everything for the advanced tutorial. This is just for people to get up and get flying and get the basic use out of the plane. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, just like the part number 1, I went ahead and we got the plane sitting here on the ramp, cold and dark, parking number 3 at Seattle. We set up the GPU, so now I need to turn the GPU on. So we're going to head to the electrical, the DC control panel, and this middle button here is this ground power assist, and that's my dog going ape shit. So basically, we're going to right click on this. Any button, if I right click, goes to the top, left click brings it down. That's a left click, that's a right click. Left, right click. Left brings it down, left again, right click. So I'm going to right click, and this little box right here is going to light up saying that we are on ground power, and you're going to start hearing the plane come to life and all sorts of things go buzzing and beeping. This plane really makes a lot of noise, so here we go. As you hear it there, it's going. So the GPU light, since it's on, the battery is lit up and the generator is lit up, and it's letting us know that it is not on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to the batteries on at the same time here. So it's now resting on GPU with the battery assist, so when it comes time to start the engines up and we get off the GPU and everything, we're automatically sitting on the batteries and the generators, so we don't have to worry about anything. So now that we're on the battery and everything, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch the avionics on for right now. The manual says that if we're going to sit here for a bit, we want to turn the avionics on when it comes to
system test, okay.
Start the plane. But we're going to sit on this for just a minute here, just to give you a feeling of what it looks like. So we got that going. Takes 3 minutes or so for the AHRS, which is the navigation system, to align itself. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to set a bunch of this stuff up before we turn the engines on, simply because it's going to get very, very, very loud here. So I'm going to bring up, this is the only panel that really pops up, and that's the FMC. I'm going to set this up first here, so I'm going to hit on. And it's going to go through a self-test here that takes a couple seconds to get it going. Now, this is a very basic FMC, nothing fancy. First thing we're going to do is we're going to initialize the FMC, tell it where we are. We are at Seattle, so that's ksea. And I click that 3 times. I have flown this plane several times out of Seattle. I've flown it to SFO, and then a funky one that I had set up, but we don't need any of those, so I'm just going to hit enter again. This is a flight plan that I have saved. We're not using any of those because we're going to hand type this thing in. So I'm going to hit FPL, the left button. flight plan. And I'm going to type in ksea. The yellow bar is active, that's where you're typing stuff in. Next I'm going to go to my departure, so I'm going to depart. I think we're going to do the real basic Seattle 4 departure. The Seattle 4 departure basically says that we're going to depart runway, I think, I don't know, let's do 34 left. You know what, let's not do 34 left. Let's do 34 right. Big long one. You're going to depart takeoff runway 34 center, 34 right is what the description says. Climb heading 344 degrees, intercept Seattle, radial 341 coming from it, and then you head on to your departure. So basically you take off, turn to the right just a little bit, and you go on your separate way. It's very simple, nothing fancy, no crazy stuff going on here. So we're going to select that by hitting enter again. The cool thing about this FMC is say I have two lines here, and since I don't have two buttons, I just hit that LSK button. These are their LSKs and the RSKs, so another LSK. I don't want Bangor, I want Seattle. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's go back here. There we go. Click on my SID. Want Seattle 4, I'm going to hit enter again. We are going to take off on, what do we say, 34 right. There is no transition off of here, so we just hit enter. Waypoints of this SID is track, heading 344. So hit select on there. The next waypoint in my flight plan, I'm going to go out to J12. Then off to EPH V120 Spokane G versus GEG Victor 448 FCA, and from there direct to KGPI. I think it's ILS2 is what I'm going to head over and take a crack at. And this is my first time flying it, so this will be interesting, right? But that's how it goes. So next up is an airway, so that's J12. In order to type airways in, I need to select the error, and I'm going to put a pound sign. Pound J12. And then hit enter. Now it shows that we're on the J12 airway, and it's going to want me to select a point to hop off at. And we're going to hop off at EPH. So it's going to fly from Seattle, Moore to Normie, intersection, fluid intersection to the EPH Moore. So we got that. Go to the next page. Victor 120. Oh. Go to EPH, so it's got that selected, so we're coming off EPH, hopping on V20, we're going to get off at Spokane, so it's got these highlighted now. It's pretty simple, this thing is very basic. Hit enter again, so now we're at Spokane. Let's go Victor 448, enter again, and obviously we're starting at Spokane, and say hi to the fire truck. Hi, fire truck. And then we'll go out to FCA. So we're going to go through all these intersections to FCA. And then we're going to arrive at Kalispell Glacier Park International, which is identifier KGPI. I'm sure someone's going to say, you need to say it phonetically. Yeah, Kilo Golf Papa India. So that's where we're going. So I hit enter again. Waypoint, KGPI tells me it's an airport. This is the position coordinates of it. Hit enter again, and that is that. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this flight plan because I might like this flight and fly it again. So file name, it's going to ask me to OK, is enter, and it's ksea kgpi underscore j41.root. So I'm going to hit enter again. So next thing we're going to do is this VNav. This is going to help us calculate a top of descent, and we'll go over the characteristic that this plane has in descent, and it's a fun one in how to fly it. Basically, it does not slow down in a descent very well, so you have to plan your descent very ahead of time to get it set up right. We're heading east, so let's go ahead and we'll do flight level 210. So once again, how I got to that is I went to the top and left click on the VNav. Go back to page 1 here. I don't have anything set in there yet because we're not there and I haven't set anything in the data portion. So I'm going to go to data, cruising altitude, I'm going to insert as 21000 for 21,000. Enter, enter, enter. So now my VNav data is inside there. And as you can see, it's have all sorts of stuff inside there. Nothing's really going to do us a whole lot of good until we get off the ground here. I'm going to come up here and left click on the nav button, and it's going to say for runway 3V4 to tracking 34. I'm going to go ahead and go direct. We're going to select that as normie, which will be our first point. So for runway 34, direct to normie. And I'm cool with it. I know what I need to be tracking there. I think that was going to take us back to Seattle, so you don't want to do that. So now your flight plan is actually in the system and set up and ready to rock and roll. I need to set my fuel. I used VRoute to give me my fuel. If I'm not mistaken, a good rule of thumb for this plane is that 2,000 pounds for the first hour and 1,200 pounds or 1,300 pounds for every hour after that. This is not the greatest plane, and it does, or as far as that sort of stuff's concerned, I need 3,840 pounds total. So that gives me what 1920 in each side. That's what we need. That includes my fuel, my alternate fuel, my captain's reserves, and everything else in between there. So I went ahead and I set that. In fact, now it's saying 3839. Plan screen kind of shows all sorts of stuff. How much fuel you used, fuel flow, lock off times, and weight. I can set extra payload and all sorts of things on here. But I'm not going to on this flight. This is just going to be a basic introduction, like I said, to flying the plane. Now that we have a flight plan in there, if I come up to the LNAV button, I click on the LNAV and then /map, I have a map down here of where we're going. I'm going to take off, fly my runway heading, or go 344, and then basically I'm going to come across and make a left-hand turn out to normie. Nothing fancy. This isn't rocket science. I'm not doing 100% as per everything and the way it's supposed to be. I'm actually going to be having fun. So that's what we're doing. We're going to, like I said, take off, runway heading, fly 344, and then I say as we cross, we'll go 3 or 4 miles out, hang a left, and come around towards normie and intercept normie and head on to Kalispell that way. The range buttons on the fake weather radar give you everything on there. I can go to the full map, TCAS, ground speed, time to go, estimated time. VL is for VOR flying, such as VOR-to-VOR or your ILS. And then, of course, we're just going to go back to LNAV, clicking on map, and I'm going to drop it down to the 10-mile interface distance out here. The FCS control is lit for pilot because I have control. We're going to go ahead and get this set up and start rocking and rolling here. I'm going to turn on my beacons and my navs. Beacons, you can hear the GPUs kicked on, it is firing at us. I need to talk a bit louder. I'm going to set my altitude right now for 21,000 feet. I'm just right-clicking on the altitude knob right over here on the right-hand corner of the screen. I'm holding it down, and I'm going to let it pull up to 21,000. So now we need to come to the load sheet here before we start screwing around with stuff to get everything set. My fuel load out right now is 3840, correct? So if I left-click on this fuel minus taxi, I want to set this to about 3640. Taxi fuel probably going to burn 1 to 200 pounds depending on how far you have to taxi and how long you're going to be waiting and hold. I didn't screw around with any additional stuff. I didn't add extra weight and everything else. I'm just going to go with this. I'm not changing passengers. I'm not adding extra cargo or anything. So we're going to say that we'll call that 2200 takeoff weight. So now I need to bring up my speed cards. Let's zoom in a little bit on the speed card. Right click until I get to the speed card label 2200. Oh, look, somebody spilled the coffee. Bad pilots. So there's 21, 2150, we'll do 2200. Normal takeoff flaps on this plane is a flap setting of 9. So I'm going to set with the IAS knob a V1 of 111, VR 111, V2 115, VYSC 131. So basically I'm going to right click on the IAS until the pink gets to 111 there on the attitude on the speed tape. So I'm just holding it down. And there is 111. I'm going to hit this push to change. I'm going to right click on the center where it says push to change. I'm sorry, left click, and that's going to turn it to the little green. So rotate is also at V1, right? So 111. I don't expect any ice, so I'm not even going to mess with the ice setting right now. And I went way past it while I was talking. So that's also 111. What we say, 115 and 131, right next to. So once again, I'm holding down the right mouse button. What did I say, 115 and 131? Sounds about right. Left click again to change, and 131. You'll notice that flaps 9 on this plane. Plane loses a lot of lift when it gets off of flaps 9. So you got to kind of prepare for it. If you're in descent and you kick on flaps 9, you really need to add some positive pressure to the stick, holding the nose down. Otherwise, it's going to porpoise up and get on you. Left click on there to put it up. Let's do a little bit of a before start check. Beacons, navs are on, batteries on, the ground power is on, the right battery is on. Avionics are on right now. It wants you to turn the avionics off, but I'm just going to leave them on for right now. But the manual does say turn the avionics off before starting the engine. That's good, that's good. Throttle position, I'm going to hit F1 to make sure it's on the idle. Parking brake needs to be set. This plane will taxi on its own because of those geared props. Now before we can start, we need to make sure that the EGT is beneath 200 on each of the engines that we're attempting to start. If it's above 200, what's going to happen here is as it spools up, the EGT is going to rise, and there's a good chance you're going to burn up your motor. And we don't want to do that, so the plane's been sitting here for a minute while we get everything else set up. It gives it time to cool off. They really did a bang-up job modeling the way the engines behave on this plane. We're at 30 and 29 respectively, so nothing crazy. Propeller position here, condition, is set to the full feathered position on the bottom here, so we're cool with there. Everything says low pressure, packs are off because we don't have anything running. Low pressure on the airframe anti-ice because obviously we don't have anything running. First thing, let's go ahead and we're going to start engine, the left one. So I'm going to turn the standby pump on. I'm going to flick the left ground to the start master to left ground. So once again, I'm going to turn the standby pump on. So that's a right click to turn this on for the left engine. We'll do the same when it comes to the right engine. I'm going to go to the left ground position on the start master, and then I'm going to left click on the start. Now you should hear the engine spooling up. I'm going to pop my head over to the left and see this thing spin up. So it's going to take too much time to jerk. Examine the EGT, make sure it does not go over 700. Kick on the bad side. Like I said in the first one, you will learn to fly this plane by the EGT. Everything is set by the EGT. I should say the 3 hash marks. Looks like everything kicked on. We are good. Engine is stabilizing. So we got next to no torque, just the startup torque. EGT is stabilized, RPM is stabilized, fuel flow is stabilized. So that one is good. I'm going to go ahead and kick the generator on. So we're good there. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn on standby pump for the right engine. So that's another right click on the standby pump for the right engine. I'm going to right click the start master to right ground. And then left click on the start. Pulls up, there we go, smoke. Beautiful. The one weakness of this plane is that sound is all over the place with the engines, switch gears. Once again, I am looking at the EGT, making sure it does not get over 700. You're good to go. RPM is pulling up, EGT is coming back down. We're at about 5% torque. And everything looks stable again, so you're good there. So now we are going to go ahead and kick on the right generator and take this off the ground power. So right click on the right generator, left click on the ground power. Boom. So now we're running on generators and batteries. Use anything. You're set. Now you need to kill the ground power card, the GPU, that's underneath the ramp manager. Just left click. Red means it's gone, it's night. So we are good on as far as that goes. The next step here is to make sure that our friend the stop locks, the start locks, go ahead and get them off the start locks. If we don't get it off the start locks, we will melt the plane, and I will post at the end of this portion of the tutorial, I will show you what it looks like when you melt an engine. It is pretty awesome, and it will happen to you. Every good Jetstream pilot, I guess, has burned an engine or 3 in their time. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to hold the throttles in reverse. So left and reverse. That'll get the start lock off. Right and reverse. That'll get the start lock off as well. So that is a crucial step. If you don't do it, like I said, you will destroy an engine. And that is the last thing you want to do. Alright, so before taxi, or after start checklist, I should say. Instruments are set. Everything's clear. Start rocks removed. Condition numbers taxi. Beacons, navs on. Generators on. Batteries off. Ground power off. Avionics is on. Airframe anti-ice. Don't have to worry about it for any engine anti-ice right now because we shouldn't really encounter anything really. I'm going to go ahead and arm the spoilers. APR should be set if it's going to be a flight that you're going to use APR, and I'll go into that in a different video. For right now, that is all you need to know about it. Takeoff trim. I just played with my buttons the other day, so it's a little fast. Green and 32 somewhere here. go ahead and set the flaps to 9. Wait for the flap dial. They move quick. It's a small. You see the cap, left beta, right beta. We are good to go as far as that's concerned. So from here, you're going to taxi out to the runway and do what you got to do. So take off the parking brake, advance the throttles a little bit. This plane will take off. Whee! Such fun, right? So once again, we are going for 3-4 right. To taxi. Have the button over to 3-4 right. Alright, I'm a few feet ahead. Nothing fancy. Basically what's going on here, I'm just taxiing all the way down to the end of the runway. It's going to take a bit. Going kind of slow. We're coming up on all the traffic here. You want to make sure you know, obviously, your flight controls. Since I moved my stick. Make sure everything works. You can go on the outside view and play with it and see. Packs should be set at 3, 5, or 10. 10 for right after takeoff, and then we'll set it back a little bit to before takeoff. 10 after start, I should say, not 10 after takeoff. So that is good there. To fast forward here to before takeoff channels. There we go. Alright, so I'm finally coming up here to threshold, the whole short line. There's a default MD 80 something takeoff. There's another default 738. Pass by all the other traffic in the Southwest, Alaska, all our friends. So I'm going to be number 2 for departure, and of course we all know how slow flight sim AI can be at taking off and landing and getting the F off the runway. I'm trying to talk a little bit louder here because I know these engines are loud and they're about to get really freaking loud. Before we enter the runway, we need to go through our takeoff check. Go ahead and pull up to the hold short. ILS hold short and travel airlines, right? So hard on the brakes here in front of it. We're going to go ahead and set the parking brake. Set this up. So for takeoff check, let's go ahead and make sure spoilers are armed. Condition levers flight. So go ahead and move your propeller condition levers up to flight. You'll immediately see the RPM kicks up, fuel flow increases, torque increases. I'm going to set my torque. You can set the engine torque with this little white knob down here at the bottom of the engine ICAS, or whatever we're calling this thing, to 98%. We don't really need much more than that right now. Flows 3, good to go there. Spoilers up, flaps 9, trim set. Something to let you know whether you are set up for flight or not is this TOCWAS, TOCW pre-takeoff test. When I kick it, I should get no messages. It should not beep at me. And it's beeping at me. Config. I just need to go back through and make sure everything is set. I'm not sure what is kicking me off here. Oh, that's lights. Lights. Generators. Everything is good. It's not set up over here. Not sure what it is. set. Just parking. Yeah, parking brake. Something stupid, right? So that's why you use that button, because it lets you know that something is not set up to take off. And it is a good friend. So we are going to end this video here, and I'm going to pick up here in part 3 on takeoff and climb. And I will see you soon. This is Brazilian X signing out.